be hot in here. Got a great guest tonight, a guy, one of all-time friends and very accomplished, Frank Frangie, will join us to talk about, among other things, the Gators basketball tonight. We're all early tonight. Some of we may not catch up till later on. We understand because we're usually on an hour later, but we wanted to accommodate you and us on Gator basketball as Florida goes up to South Carolina to participate in that game against the Gamecocks, needing to rebound from that real tough jolt last week. Losing to Auburn was a tough one for Florida, and we'll get Frank's take on that as well. A little later in the program, we're going to have Scott Carter. We'll catch up a little bit about what's happening in football, or as I said, not call him little boy orange and blue today. He's doing quite good off to the start. We'll talk about that. And Franz Beard was scheduled to be up in South Carolina, but took sick. He'll join the show later on tonight to tee us up for the basketball game at the top of the hour. So stay tuned. Frank Frangie is next right here on the program. We'll cover a lot of topics, but if we don't cover what you want to talk about, well, come and get us. Tell us. We have the message boards right here, and we'd love to hear from you. So come join us if you'd like to on the Buddy Martin Show. Let's see. Tennessee is coming back against Tennessee, trading Georgia 38-32. And we'll tell you more about the scores as they come in. Let's just go ahead and join our friend Frank Frangie here and get started. And we won't even play the intro. How about that? Let's go see if we can find Frank. He's hiding here somewhere. Hello, Frank. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Buddy, I'm great. Thanks for having me on. Always good to catch up with you, man. And things are great. Cold up here in Jacksonville, I promise you that. But it's all things are good and good to be with you.
What's your low supposed to be tonight?
It's been 29 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I am such a cold weather wimp that I've got more clothes on during the day than you can imagine. So it got a little warmer today, got into the 50s. I'm telling you though, we've had some 46 high, 28, 29 lows, and all the plants. We try to cover the plants; they're all dead. And so it's been cold up here, but we're good. We're ready to go.
Been cold here too. We had 29 this morning ourselves. So yes, I know your feeling. So Frank, I'm sorry we didn't get the music up, but we'll let that go for right now. Since we're rolling on anyway, and there's so much that is going on right now. Let's take it right where you live, which is the NFL, of course. And we now know who there's in Seattle, New England punched their tickets to the Super Bowl. 2 very different conference championship games. That sort of snow globe rock fight, they call it in Denver. Brutal weather. I've been there a few times. And, of course, in Seattle, those Seahawks are just amazing. So what did you make of the first round? And those championship games are always the best. And sometimes they never measure up after that.
Yeah, I would say a couple things, buddy. Number one, I think Seattle and the Rams have the 2 best teams in the NFL. And I thought whatever team won that game was going to win the Super Bowl. I still think so. We played them all now. The Jaguars played Seattle. We played the Rams. We played the Broncos. Didn't play the Patriots, but we played 3 of the 4. So I got to see them up close and personal. Seattle's really good. They're physical. They're fast. They're the old Alabama bit of the NFL. So they have a really good team. And I thought they had the best. They and the Rams had the 2 best teams. And I think Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl. I hated it for Denver that they didn't have Bo Nix.
Yeah, that was tough.
We saw them up there. But then once the game it wouldn't have mattered, I don't think, because once the game became a snow game, it was hard to watch. There's a lot of conversation about why more and more teams in the league. I think 9 teams already playing domes, 9 of the 32. I think 13 or 14 of the teams play on turf, and I think you're going to see more and more of that, buddy. So it was a hard watch. Listen, the NFL is great. It was here in Jacksonville. We had a really good team. Finished 13-4. I said this on my radio show. If we beat the Bills, if the Jags beat the Bills, I thought they could have beat any of them because they certainly handled Denver during the regular year, but lost to the Bills. It was a heartbreaker, and you wound up having. And I'll say this: the 2 teams in the Super Bowl earned their way in. The Patriots earned their way in. 2 really good teams. It's going to be a fun Super Bowl.
Mike Vrabel did an amazing coaching job. Were they 4-win teams 2 years in a row prior to this? And what they did and how they played was amazing. And the quarterback situation is amazing. I want to talk a little bit about about your guy Lawrence. Obviously, had a terrific year, his best, and good enough to have gotten him there. The quarterback play is at such a high level now in the NFL. I mean, it is amazing. That much can make the difference in where you get to the Super Bowl or not, as we saw. You look at the situation in LA and the Rams, and God, can you play better than him and not get there? So it was a really amazing. I'm not an NFL fan, as you know, used to cover it, but now this time of year I get started watching it. So we got another week to go, and would you rather than play, just keep on playing and not have a week off?
No, I like the week off. I think it builds up the drama. And to your point about Trevor a minute ago, so I like the way they do it. As for the Trevor Lawrence had the best year of his career. He had 30. He accounted for 38 touchdowns, passing and running. That was third best in the league. He's only 26, buddy. And think about this: coming into this year, it was his 5th year in the league. He'd had 3 head coaches and 4 play callers. Think about that for a second. In 5 years, 3 head coaches. You need the same coach. Lamar Jackson's had the same coach. He won't now, but he's had the same coach the whole time. Patrick Mahomes, the same coach. Josh Allen, the same coach. Joe Burrow, the same coach. Those guys had the same head coach all their careers. Trevor's had a bunch of different ones. He's overcome it. Liam Cohen, this guy's a really good coach. The Jags are going to be good for a while. I can tell you that. They're the 13 of they're the same thing. They won 4 games last year and 13 this year. I think they've got that thing built. I think they've got to have a chance to have a really good team. I really do.
Yeah, you want to make a Super Bowl pick yet? You haven't made it on there. Probably have to wait, don't you?
Yeah, no, I think the Seahawks are going to beat them. I think, again, I've said all year the Seahawks. I mean, I'm telling you, buddy, since September, I've thought the Seahawks and the Rams were the 2 best teams. I said in September I thought they'd play in the NFC Championship game. Well, 4 months later, they played in the NFC Championship game. I'm going to pick Seattle, and I would have picked the Rams if they had won. Again, I'm not going to waver from what I thought. I thought they were the 2 best. And again, I saw them both up close. I saw them both in person, and I thought they were the 2 best teams in the league. So I think Seattle's going to beat the Patriots. Had a great year. Mike Vrabel to your point, did a great job, but I think Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl.
There was a couple of calls and things that could have gone differently. And obviously, I have this thing. I think analytics sometimes get your mind screwed up. You say, well, it said the book says this, and yeah, the book ain't always right. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I watch baseball and I see them put a 220 right-hander in for a guy who's hitting 300 for a left-hander because they got a left-hander. I mean, it drives me crazy. That the better player ought to have a chance. I could make a case for it. I know that it was a very difficult call on the field goal. Denver, though, I mean, don't you think in your heart if they'd gone for the field goal and made it, a 10-0 game, whatever, it could have turned out differently?
Well, that's the talk. That's going to be the offseason narrative. Because what Sean Payton did, buddy, that's what all the coaches do nowadays.
Yeah.
The day when you and I first started watching football and we watched it together, everybody kicked field goals and punted. Nobody went for it on 4th down.
Except Spurrier.
That's right. But unless you were desperate, you didn't. Now everybody goes for it. So, but there's so many times, one happened here in Jacksonville, certainly happened in that game with Denver, that not taking the points wound up hurting the team. Now, I don't think you're going to see a drastic change. I don't think it's all of a sudden everyone's going to go back to kicking field goals and punting when they instead of going for it on 4th like they do now. But I do think it'll be a talker in the offseason. And I think it'll be so much of a talker in the offseason that that they'll rethink it a little bit. But yeah, that was all the talk. And listen, in fairness, Sean Payton should have kicked the field goal. Get up 10-0. You got your backup quarterback in.
And I said so at the time. I felt it.
I think most did. But also, I think you're in the majority, buddy. I think most people did. But I'll also say this: God bless him. Nobody saw the blizzard coming. I mean, that thing.
Well, now there's some talk about it. I heard the Rich Eisen show. They had the forecast. They knew. They had the next hour. They knew it was going to change. Everybody knew it. The TV crew.
But I don't know that I mean, right. But it just changed so. And again, you used to live up there, so that better than I do. But gosh, it changed so much. So, but yeah. In retrospect, Sean Payton probably should have kicked the field goal. I don't think anybody debates that. He didn't say that. He wished he'd called a different play because coaches never go back and say, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. That's just not a coach thing.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting and one that I think we'll talk about in the offseason. Now, we're going to put this aside. I am going to play the intro. We're going to come back, and I'm going to drill down on you for some heavy-duty Gator talk, basketball and football. Over the weekend, Coach Summerall, not Summerall, folks, I had a little impromptu press conference, impressed a lot of people, said some things. His energy levels got people up. Now, you don't want to get over your skis and too excited, but I talked to some people, including Coach Spurrier. They're kind of lit up now about this guy. They think he's the real deal, and I'm beginning to think he might be too. But stand by. We'll play our opening, come back. Frank Frangie talking Gators with us right here on the program.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Back here with Frank Frangie. We're going to continue with the program, talk little Gators. Before I shift over to collegiate ball, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but the Bill Belichick snub. I mean, we could spend all kinds of time on this. I don't want to. I know it means a lot to be on the first ballot. I think they've had 200. I looked it up today. I think something like out of the 375 or 80, they've had like 75 of them on the first ballot. I was with Terry Bradshaw the day he got the call. I'm going to tell you, he was a nervous wreck. We were at his house in Dallas. He couldn't sit still. He wanted to go out and throw the ball in the backyard. My hands were stinging for catching those passes from him while he was working off his nervous energy. He didn't want to say it, but he really wanted to be on that first ballot. Okay, having said that, a lot's being said about the fact that Belichick, who has 8 rings, they say, didn't get in the first ballot. There's many other reasons why. Without spending a whole program on this, how do you feel about it?
Obviously, it's one of the worst snubs of all time. The guy won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 as a coordinator. He's the 3rd winningest coach of all time. He's one of the greatest. He might be the greatest coach who ever coached. It's comical that he's not in. I think the 11 plus people that didn't vote for him should come clean and say why they didn't. I think the main thing is a lot of you can pick 3 of the 5, I think is what it was this round. And I think the reality is a lot of those guys always pick a player over the coach. And I think that's what wound up happening. But it's silly, and it's gone so viral, buddy. It's gotten so much attention that I think it was the Hall of Fame came out with a statement themselves about an hour ago talking about how if anybody didn't follow their proper protocols in voting, that they could be banned from being a voter in the future. The Hall's embarrassed. The Hall got it wrong. The voters got it wrong. I'd like to see him revote. You never revote, but you know what? Everybody knows they got it wrong. Well, it's okay every now and then if someone comes up and says, listen, we got it wrong. Nobody ever wants to admit they got something wrong, right? You got it wrong. They ought to revote. The fact that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer is comical. It really is.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I will say this, then we'll get off the subject. I heard Colin Cowherd, I don't often quote him today, talk about how, and this is true, I knew Belichick before he became a head coach, when he coached in New York. He said, you can't be, pardon my French, dickhead all your life to everybody and not have any consequences. And he was indeed that. And, and where this, it shouldn't be personal, but it is. And it comes down to some issues of like Spygate. He had a role in that and what have you. But we could go on forever there. It's done. He'll get in next year. It's no big deal. And it is rather insulting and embarrassing. And it was wrong. So let's talk about our guy, John Summerall. Frank, You and I have been on this Florida beat for a long time, writing and talking about coaches. We keep wanting to get it right. We had a couple that did. We were lucky enough you and I to be a part of that. Spurrier and you had your man Ron Zook too. I know you were happy with him, and of course Urban. Today it feels like, as of today, 2 weeks, that maybe he's onto something and finding a pathway. He's got guys like Spurrier who's like, okay, let's wait and see, thinking, okay, I like what I'm hearing and seeing. It's that he's done something, that he actually opened the gates of communication, but he actually said to the media, want to have some fun? Come out here at 5:50 in the morning on Wednesday and watch these guys suffer, And he's talking to people. He's revealing some of himself. He's a real person, and his work in the portal has been genius. All right. Tell me what I'm missing.
I haven't met him yet, but I'm like you. I think people are very excited about him. I'll tell you one of the amazing stories, buddy, is everybody wanted Kiffin so bad. It was Kiffin or bust in everybody's mind, all the Gator fans. And then Kiffin didn't come, and people were so distraught. I'll give Sumrall credit. 3 days later, whenever they hired him, all of a sudden his energy, his enthusiasm, something about him, that regular guy persona he has. Mm-hmm. He's a ball coach. You can tell that now. That's a ball coach there. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, Gator fans got excited. He flipped the switch so quickly from guys that were fans that were down in the dumps to fans who were excited. It was kind of hard to believe how quickly it happened. Dave Caldwell's a buddy of mine. He's the general manager, as you know.
Yeah, you like him?
I like him very much. He's a good friend. And we spent some time together right afterwards, and we were kind of laughing about it and about how quickly, laughing but excited about how quickly it flipped. And now I think people are very excited. So I don't know John Sumrall. I think his presence, he's got a charisma to him. He's got an energy for sure. Mm-hmm. And that has worked its way into Gator Nation. Now listen, buddy, nothing matters till you play, right? And no matter how excited you are about someone, if they don't win enough, you're not going to like him. If they win all the games, you're going to love him. And he knows that. But I like what he's done. I like the way they built the roster. I don't know if they'll have a great team next year because nobody knows if Philo or Tramel Jones or how good they'll be. But they've got some good – I like their defensive personnel. I love their running back. I love 2 or 3 of their receivers. So if the quarterback plays pretty good, they've got a chance to have a pretty good team. But back to your question about Sumrall, there's an energy. It's infectious. I think he's excited. He's excitable. He makes people excited. And I think that charm and that charisma has worked its way into Gator Nation. And at least for now, when you don't get to play a game till September, it's a really positive thing. That's what I take from John Sumrall.
Yeah, good comments. I think he seems direct, honest. It always felt like, and I hate to always go back on the previous guy, but Billy, like his job felt like it was to keep stuff from you. He didn't want you to know what he was doing. It seems like he didn't want you. He just kept. He kept throwing the offensive coordinator thing. He wouldn't answer questions, and we got to thinking. I had a guy tell me today, real close to the program up there, say, I almost got used to losing. I never thought I'd say that. It became a normal thing to lose, and you now see this. Say, well, there is another way to do this. His work in the portal was great. I mean, getting the 5 guys he got back, genius. And it looks like he's got some really good players coming in. I think, and I'll mark this down, I want you to remember I said it, one of the biggest impacts of this team will be Troutwine. And the offensive lineman he's bringing in, he's got 3 studs already. And that he's an NFL coach. He'll have him play in the NFL. He and the offensive line, imagine if they could block and protect. And now they're going to run the football, Frank. And guess who's going to be carrying the rock? Number 13.
I'll say this: if the offensive line's good, because I don't know what to expect, but if the offensive line's good and the receivers stay healthy, you got a hunch they're going to have a pretty good team. Obviously, you're right. Jaden Ball's a really good player. I will tell you this. I got a hunch this guy Philo is going to be good. We have a little tape on him because he played that NC State, and then he played a game again against one of the non-power 4s, and you saw a lot. And Buster Faulkner, who people love. Mm-hmm. So I got a hunch he's going to be good. Ball's good. If Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson are healthy, and this guy Singleton that's coming in from Auburn's really good. The question is the offensive line. I don't know how good the line will be, buddy. I think that's the biggest question mark I have about the whole team. Offense, defense, any position group, any room. The O-line room is the one and I'm not saying I don't think it's going to be good. And I agree with you, Phil Trautwein's a good coach. But that's the one position I don't know enough about, and I don't know what to think. Because to your point, if the O-line's good, I like what's around it. And I will tell you this. I know we're talking about offense, but they have about 7 or 8 defensive players. Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, Jaden Robinson, obviously Jaden Woods. For starters, those guys.
Cormani McClain.
Yeah, Cormani McClain and DeJon Johnson, the 2 cornerbacks. They've got enough players. They've got enough elite type players. I worry about defensive tackle a little bit, but they have enough elite players that they might be pretty good on defense. I got a hunch. I will tell you right now, I'd be surprised. Brad White's a good coordinator. I'd be pretty surprised if they're not good on defense. The question is, will the offensive line allow them to be good on offense? It's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah.
And also one other thing about Summerall too. You compared him to Napier a little bit. This cat's got an edge, buddy. You know what? I like about him. He loses, he's gonna be pissed. You know that?
Yeah.
There's a pleasant, charismatic, charming orneriness to him. And Billy Napier had none of that. I'm not knocking Billy. Billy did the best he could. I was never mad at Billy Napier. It was time to fire him. They fired him. He moved on. I hope he does great at James Madison. No hard feelings from Gator Nation, I hope.
He'll do okay with 20 minutes in his pocket. He'll be all right.
But that's right. But this guy's got a goddamn edge to him, and I love that. That's probably what I love best about him.
Yeah.
Is that unabashed enthusiasm, excitement, and edge that I think he's really. And again, I don't know him. I'm just judging what I see.
But you feel like you know him. You kind of do feel like you know him a little bit, you know?
He is that guy.
He's that guy. He's who he is. And I love that about that age. Did you see the video where when he signed the kid, Amari, what's his last name? And he came out and how much he hugged him and bumped him and chest bumped him. He was absolutely, and it was real. You could tell he didn't make that up, you know. And he was excited to have that kid. Now, my man Shane Matthews, that you know quite well, he says the best receiver on the team will not be Vernell or those other guys. It will be Eric Singleton. Yeah. He said he's the best receiver on that team.
Well, I will say this. When they got Eric Singleton from Auburn, of all the guys they got in the portal, buddy, and I think they got some good players in the portal, but they weren't out recruiting anybody in the portal. They didn't get Jordan Seaton, the offensive lineman that went to LSU.
It cost $1 gazillion.
They didn't get Sam Levitt, the quarterback who went to LSU. Right. But Singleton, that of all the guys they got in the portal, not counting the guys they kept. Now, everybody wanted Jaden Woods. Everybody would have wanted Jaden Baugh, and those guys never went to the portal. Everybody would have loved Miles Graham. He did a great job of keeping his 5 guys, right? He did. Great job. But of all the guys that weren't on the Gators last year that will be this year, Singleton's the one there's a buzz about. That's the one that everybody's buzzing about. And if Shane's right, if Shane's right, and if Vernell Brown III and Dallas Wilson stay healthy, if those 3 guys play together for the entire season, boy, I can't imagine that Florida won't be pretty good. I really believe that.
Yeah, and it's an edge, like you said, an edge again. Hearing Shane say that, that's good enough to me. He knows what he's talking about there. Yeah. I think the defense might be surprisingly good. And don't forget that their offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator of the year, you know, already. Their coaching staff looks really good. Their players look really good. I just like the way this sets up. Now, having said that, I get accused of being a Gator homer, orange and blue glasses. I have to remind people every now and then, I say, I want to tell you something. You may think I'm a total homer, but I was known as a badass one time in my life, okay? There were people in games who didn't speak to me, didn't want me to see me coming, and you can vouch for that. And I might only say that to offset the idea that I'm some soft. I will call it bad if it's bad. But anyway, I'm excited about this football season. The schedule should be slightly easier. The QB is going to be fascinating. I don't know which one of those guys are going. But you know what I like about it? They knew they wanted that kid from day one for Tech. They knew they wanted him. They were off the bat said he's the guy, and they went and got him.
Yeah, I think, and I think if you dug deep, they paid him. They didn't pay him $4 million or $5 million. They probably paid him $1 million or $2 million, maybe $1.5 million.
Yeah, well, that was from open market.
But I think you'll also find out if they tell that they paid Tramel Jones too now. They think there's something there. I think Philo's going to be the quarterback. I say that without anybody know. Nobody knows. They haven't even practiced yet. But I think Tramel Jones and Philo will be a good battle. And I'll say this too about, you mentioned Buster Faulkner, the coordinator.
Yeah.
I was told, not by my Georgia, I don't have a lot of Georgia Tech buddies, but I got a bunch of Georgia buddies, guys that cover Georgia and know the program. And he was on that staff when they won back-to-back national titles.
Yeah.
He was Stetson Bennett's quarterback coach. He wasn't the coordinator, but he was the quarterback's coach.
Right.
And when Todd Monken was the coordinator, who's now the head coach of the Browns.
Yes, I saw it today.
When Monken left, Mike Bobo became the coordinator, and Faulkner left for Georgia Tech. A lot of people in that Georgia group thought, gosh, no disrespect to Mike Bobo. He's a former quarterback here. He's an all-time Bulldog. But, boy, we hated to see Buster Faulkner get out the door and go to our chief rival, Georgia Tech. Well, what happens now? Well, now he goes to Georgia's other rival, and that's Florida. So Buster Faulkner is really highly thought of. He's going to be a head coach sooner rather than later. And like you, buddy, I'm very excited to see. Look, there's a palpable excitement about what those Gators might be. None of us know. None of us know. The schedule a little easier, that's for sure. But there's a palpable excitement about what that team might be. And I see that everywhere around Gator Nation. We don't know. By the way, you realize there's like 50 new players? You realize that? 50. There's 30.
Yeah, because all those walk-ons are now scholarship players too.
Well, they're not even counting the walk-ons. There's 30 players came in the portal, and maybe those walk-on, but 30 came in the portal.
Yeah.
They signed 18 guys. Buddy, that's 48 players that weren't on the team last year. Now, that's the world we live in now. That's not just the Gators. Everyone's doing that. Yeah. But I think there's a palpable excitement about what they might be.
Yes. You know your ball, Frank. You really do. And it's going to be fun to watch. Who do you think right now wins the quarterback job?
Philo. But let me be clear. No, the truth is none of us have any idea, okay? But my guess is Philo I really liked what I saw on tape from him. Tramel Jones hasn't played very much.
He's a runner. He's a good runner.
Yeah, I really, really like what I saw on tape from Aaron Philo.
Yeah.
I got a real good feeling about him, man.
What do you like about him?
I love his throwing motion. He can really throw it.
Yeah.
He set all the records in Georgia. He broke Trevor Lawrence's records, his passing records. I mean, he was
he's an all-time leading passer high school in Georgia.
He can really throw it. The little bit of tape we have on him, that NC State game, and I forget the non-Power 4 team. You can see, and again, NC State, some big plays where he had to run the football, and he did. He tucked it, knew when to run. He was very accurate. He looks like a drop-back quarterback. Looks a little bit like a shorter Kyle Trask. He's built a little bit more like Rex Grossman, but he looks like a very natural passer. They haven't had that, man. DJ Lagway, God bless him, wasn't a natural passer. Graham Mertz kind of was, but he wasn't very physical. The arm strength was average. He wasn't. He was a little bit injury prone. This guy looks like a very natural passer, and they haven't had that there in a while. Yeah,
Frank Frangie, you can hear him on. What is your radio show on, by the way?
1010 AM or 92.5 FM radio in Jacksonville.
What time of day, though? I know. Why?
4 to 6. 4 to 6.
It's on 4 to 6 every day?
4 to 6 every day. And, buddy, it's been I was talking about this today with somebody. It's been 38 years of doing that radio show, a couple different stations, but I've been doing it for 38 years. And you know what I'm going to do tomorrow, buddy? I'm going to do it again, okay? 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Do you remember Scores and More with you, me, David Lamb, and
Jay Solomon?
Solomon. Of course we sat down that day.
Yeah.
And we started Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah. And in fact, that was in 1989. I can tell you in 88, I started my radio career in 88.
You already were doing radio.
And I did a little. Here, I'll tell you what happened. So in 1988, I was a sports writer. I was covering Georgia. I was about to get the Gator beat at the Times Union. You remember this.
Mm-hmm.
And WJGR called me, a man named Bill Mize, who I knew because he had coached me in baseball 100 years ago when I was a kid. He called me and asked me, would you like to come? We're starting this thing called talk radio and sports radio. It's just coming into being. They just launched the Fan in New York. He said, would you have any interest in hosting our show at night, 3 nights a week? Okay. And at the time, buddy, I was making big money. All right. I was making about 19 grand at your Times Union. Right.
Yeah. I know. I was not doing much better myself.
And he says, and this man, Bill Mize, this really nice man, says, look, I think you might be the next big thing around here. I think there's something there. Would you like to host a radio show? And I said, Bill, I appreciate that, but I'm a sports writer and I don't know a thing about radio. He goes, I'll pay $150 a week. I said, sold. And that started the radio. And a year later, we were all doing the Sports Huddle, you, me, Jay, and David, and from '89. So it all started in 1988, and I've been doing it ever since.
I started listening to you when you were there, and I called you up one day. What did I say to you?
I don't remember.
Frank, you're a good sports writer.
Yeah.
Right? You're
right.
Good, but you could be really good on the radio. Remember that?
I do now, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I just happen to be a little not that I deserve any credit for it, but congratulations for all your success. All right, we're going to go get our friend Scott Carter here. Before I do, I want to tell folks about our fine sponsors, Meldon Law. By the way, tomorrow night, our first basketball show. We're doing a Gator Hoops show, a hoopla, and we'll have our buddy Jeffrey Meldon on, who knows all these players, who entertains them. He's good friends with them, and who, my gosh, nobody's ever done a better promotion than what he did at Florida when he got 10,000 replica rings and gave them away to people at the basketball game. 10,000. He's all in on the Gators. He's a good dude. He's a lawyer, by the way. If you need one, check him out. Meldon Law, located in North Central Florida. Now, in South Florida, Meldon Law, they won't back down. Well, we got some hoops going on too, Frank, and we're going to go to get our buddy for a minute. And I know you are going to stay all night, but let's just see what Scott Carter's got going on. We'll talk a little football with Scott. Good to have Scott back on the show. Even to you, Scott.
Hey guys, how are you, man? Been a while, buddy.
Yeah, nice to see you. We just regaling ourselves with stories about our past. Yeah, so we, I know you've heard all this. We would talk about the things we like about John Summerall, and Frank and I are pretty eye to eye on this, what we see. I know you and I have this conversation a little bit too. I know it's, I'm not asking you to get the pom-poms out, but you hear and feel and see a lot of things around there. What does it feel like? What does it look like?
Well, it kind of feels like what you guys see. I mean, this guy's full of energy, and I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost added a little sense of shock value because he is so different than Billy Napier. So I think fans, the media, kind of got used to Napier and his laid-back approach, and then you got this guy Summerall comes in who, you can tell he's hyped up every minute of the day. I know he sleeps, but he didn't get much for about a month there. And, he's just kind of gotten on campus and hit the road doing some recruiting and, speaking to the fans at the basketball game the other day. So I think it's just a total contrast of styles, and that sticks out to everybody. But I do think John Summerall is one of those kind of what I call an old school coach, man. He loves ball. I'm sure he's going to love to talk about spring practice, and, he's going to really, I think, be, just a fresh breath air. I don't think he's nearly as buttoned up as some of the college football coaches we're used to today, and I hope he stays that way.
Yeah, good point. Scott, I do too.
Scott, I can tell you, Buddy and I were talking about this earlier. And by the way, if you guys aren't following Scott on FloridaGators.com, you're doing it wrong, because I know more about that football team. You've done a great job, Scott, as you always do. I get to know those guys.
Thanks, guys.
But I will tell you, Scott, I said this earlier to Buddy. It was amazing to me. The whole world wanted Kiffin, and then Kiffin didn't wind up there, and they were depressed. Something about Summerall's presence, I was shocked at how quickly it flipped, and everybody's excited. I think you're right. Number one, he's a ball coach, isn't he? That guy's a dang ball coach. He's got an edge to him. I don't know how good a coach will be. We'll find that out. I hope he's good. But he's got a palpable edge. He's got an angry pissiness about him, which I like. He wants to win. I think his energy has made its way into Gator Nation. Don't you think it's made its way into Gator Nation? And you can sense it every time you talk to a Gator fan about this guy's energy. So I think it's a cool. Who knows how they'll do, but I certainly like the start. I really do.
Yeah, I'm there with you, Frank. I mean, I just you see a guy come in like him, and he's really fired up, and he wants to be at Florida. And, he knows he's in a good situation too, guys. I mean, the program's in a rough spot right now. It's in a place where, quite frankly, it hasn't been in a long time. So coming in, he can make a good first impression, and I do think there's some of that. The Kiffin shock after that wore off. You're right. You saw some things play out at LSU, and you're like, man, did we dodge a bullet there? So you just don't know. But I think if you don't like John Summerall so far, you just probably don't like a lot of people.
Right. Agree.
No. I want to touch on what you just said there. It's so important. I love that Summerall loves being here. He really loves being here. It's so refreshing to a few other coaches we've had in recent years, including one guy who claimed his life was being threatened, whatever, who just sort of like mailed it in. They could have been in Cleveland for all they care. They didn't care about. And they have one thing in common. They love University of Florida and games like the three of us do. That's important to me, and I think Summerall comes across. I think the fans love him for it.
Well, I think this too, buddy, and you guys are right. He loves being there. But if you go back and look at the coach, Billy Napier was a nice guy. He really was. If he had won, people would like him because he's a very likable guy. But there wasn't an edge to him. There wasn't a fire and an energy to him that this guy's got. He was a nice guy. McElwain was just a weird cat. He was to your point about him. I like Dan Mullen. Scott, you knew him better than I did because you covered him. I watched from afar. And I don't want to say he was snarky because I like Dan, but there was something that I don't think he connected.
Yeah, he was snarky.
You're right. There's something that didn't connect with the regular guy as much. I thought Will Muschamp connected with the regular guy. If he'd have been a better coach, I think they'd have loved him. And I think Summerall's like that. I think he connects with people. I think he's a guy that if he was your next door neighbor and he's out there grilling brats, you'd go hang out with him. I think he's kind of that guy. I really get that read from him.
All right, we got some hoops going on.
No doubt.
Go ahead, Scott. Go.
No, I was just saying, no doubt, he is that guy. And, we know Gator fans like that kind of guy. And I think Frank made a great comparison with Will Muschamp because that's who he reminds me of a lot of ways. If he can do better than Muschamp on Saturdays, I think Gator fans are really going to love this guy for a long time. I don't know how it's going to look either, but I do like the hires he's made. I like what he's doing, and trying to already get way ahead on some recruiting classes. So you got to give him time. But, yeah, I think he is going to win over the fan base big if he wins.
Yeah. Guys, we got a basketball team that is unbelievable. It's hard to believe they're the reigning national champions. But they got punched in the gut the other night. And that was a tough one. It's one of the most difficult losses Florida's had in basketball in a long time. Franz will be on her a little later on. We'll talk about it. He says that there's a lot more to it than just the shooting. Obviously, the shooting is a big part of it. And you can't get back in the game and be tied after being down 15.5 and then let the team off the hook and get beat by 12 or whatever, 8, whatever it was. Disappointing loss to his best friend. Pearl and Golden, as you know, have been friends a long time, and they were best men at each other's weddings. And they both wanted that game badly. But you know what? Stephen Pearl out-coached Golden, and the Gators lost the game. Tonight, in just a few minutes, they tee it up in Columbia. I want to give Frank a chance to go first. I'm going to let him go because I promised him I wouldn't keep him but a few minutes. I've already violated that. And I want Scott's take. Give me your take on basketball.
A couple things first. And, buddy, you can keep me as long as you want. You know that. But I'm going to bail and let you and Scott and Franz have it in a minute. But let me say this. It's a long season, man. You play 31 games. You play 18 league games. You're not going to have your A game every game. That's the reality of it. I thought two things. The obvious thing is Auburn packed everything in the paint. And they said, we're not going to let Chinulu dominate like he's been doing. Every time he caught it, there were 2 or 3 guys there. Every time Condon caught it. And Auburn's game plan was pack the middle. If Florida kicks it out, shoots, let them shoot, and let's see if they can beat us, and they couldn't. So now the narrative is that's the blueprint to beat Florida. Now, not everybody's got as many big guys as Auburn, but the blueprint now is pack the middle. That's one storyline. And the other storyline was, I thought Todd said it. He said, listen, we didn't, they had better energy. They took the fight to us. In the very brief golden era, I don't think that's happened very much. I don't think someone's had more fight than the Gators, but certainly in the first half, I thought Auburn got to loose balls better. I thought they dove for more balls. So I thought Auburn outfought them in the first half. And then I thought the other storyline, Scott, was the fact that they packed the middle and kind of dared Florida to shoot from outside. And now we'll see, starting with tonight, whether that blueprint works against the Gators.
What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think Frank hit it on the head in the way that Auburn really did pack the paint. And, you know, this Florida team is not going to get out-rebounded hardly ever. So you look at the numbers from that game, it was clear what Auburn was doing well. And then, of course, Keyshawn Hall went off early and got him in a deep hole. And it's a classic story of, you know, you get in an 18, 20-point hole, you climb all the way back, and then you just run out of juice at the end. The other team wins. It's kind of what happened. Todd Golden took some of the blame himself. He said he put that one on him a little bit, reminded him a lot of the Missouri game last year when they lost at home in kind of about the same time of year. And now they went back to the basics, basically saying, hey, guys, you know, we had a good little run. People are starting to give us some love. Maybe we listened to it a little too much. Maybe we believed it a little too much. Now we got to get back to the basics and do the dirty work. And, you know, if they're going to win, we know how they're going to win this year. It's going to be with those big guys. It's going to be dominating the boards. And you hope to have some good shooting nights from the guards here and there, but they're going to win differently, as we've already seen a lot from last year.
All right, before we bring Franz down off his sick bed, he was supposed to be in Columbia tonight, and he took sick. Let's get your quick thoughts on this real quick. Frank, Final Four team?
I think they've got the capability to be a Final Four team. By now, everybody knows the strengths and weaknesses. They got the best front court in America. I believe that. They're not a good shooting team. They've got to find a way to find some perimeter offense. In this day and age, you got to make threes. You don't have to come out and shoot them quickly, but you got to have somewhere in your offense. You got to make threes. They have the potential to be a Final Four team. That was only one game Saturday. I think you got to be careful, buddy, to get too caught up in one game. But the flaw is the shooting. We all know that. The flaw is the shooting. But I think they're a skilled team. They got that great front court. They've got that Final Four experience. So I think they could be a Final Four team. They've got to shoot it better. If they do, I think they will be.
All right, one quick response from you, Franz, before I let Frank go. Go ahead. Good evening to you.
Well, I think lost in the shuffle is the fact that the Gators have made more threes than their opponents this year. They have also made more threes in their losses than their opponents, 40-34. Shooting, they're not a good shooting team. And the thing about it is teams get hot suddenly and they find a way to make it. Here's what I'm looking for the rest of the season. I want somebody to step up and say, I want the ball with 2 minutes to go. The game's on the line. I want the ball. Put it on me. I can do it.
They had
three guys last year who could and would. Yeah. And you've got to, you got to have people not only who are willing to take the last shot, but willing to defend the guy who wants to take the next shot on the other side. And they've got that. Those are the two questions to me that have to be answered. They got to find somebody who will make that clutch defensive play. I'm looking at right now at the games they lost, and that's missing in every one of the games is somebody stepping up and saying, you're not going to get it on me. You may score, you may beat Georgia that way, you may beat Auburn that way or South Carolina or somebody else, but you ain't going to do it on me and the Gators. And they haven't got somebody who's done that yet.
Tennessee up by one over Georgia with 2:30 to go, 70-69. Frank, good night. Great stuff. Appreciate you, buddy. Good talking to you. All the best.
See you, Frank.
All right, Frank. Thank you.
Have me on.
Thank you, Frank. Okay. All right. I want to jump in here, and I don't mean to change subject because the basketball game starting in a minute. I want to get back, since we're all through here, talking about football. What's the thing that gets you the most excited right now about this team in 2026, Scott?
Well, without question for me, it's what we talked about. It's Summerall, his energy, his kind of just resetting a program that needed to be reset and doing it in a way with some edge. I mean, Frank used that word a couple of times about Summerall. He's got some edge that has been missing. We've seen it missing press conference. We've seen it missing on the field. We've seen it missing at practice. And again, if Billy Napier had one more, he would still be the coach here, and people would have liked him. But I think Summerall, the contrast is so great. He's going to stand out. And I think this accountability factor, you heard about what he said the other day about the logos. These guys are going to earn it. They haven't earned anything yet. And, that's an Urban Meyer ploy that he used that fans remember. But in this day of age where a lot of people look at these guys as being, they're more – it's entitled, I guess, is the word that a lot of people use than ever before because of NIL and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think he's kind of reshaping the paradigm, and okay, guys, you're going to get all this stuff at Florida. You're going to have some of the best NIL deals in the country. You're going to have some of the best resources in the country. But guess what? You are going to really have to earn it. And so I like that, man. I like that energy. It's just something that's been missing.
Franz, what was interesting is when it was brought up, one of the writers, might have been Edgar, had to tell whatever Summerall was telling folks about his new approach to things, had to tell them that Urban Meyer did that. He didn't know it, and he's a close follower and admirer of Urban Meyer. Franz, how would this be different? What do you call that, Urban, and how do you think Summerall will be different than Urban in terms of this earn your logo?
Well, I don't know if they'll be that much different in practice. Football practice is football practice. The question is this: does his intensity raise the intensity level of his team? I always felt that Billy Napier's laid-back approach led to too much of a laid-back approach by his team. I think when you're playing in the Southeastern Conference, you better have a level of an intensity that is, I guess you could call it conducive to the rest of the team getting it as well. And I liked Billy. I mean, I thought Billy was one whale of a nice guy. And I think he's probably a good football coach, but I didn't think he was a good fit here. And the reason I don't think he was a good fit here was this is the Southeastern Conference, and you better have an intensity level that matches everybody else, because if you don't, you wind up 4-8. And that's what the Gators have been. Three losing seasons out of 4. I like his level of intensity. I like the fact that it is a very self-confident level of intensity. And when I say self-confident, it's not a braggadocio like, hey, look at me. He's not Lane Kiffin, who you get the idea that, yeah, he's a superior football coach. But Lane, you get the idea it is about Lane. Summerall, you get the feeling that, yeah, I'm very confident, but this is about my team. I'm just the guy at the top. And I just like the way that he's gone about it. I think that his team will respond to that. I certainly hope so. We'll find out in the spring and next year.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that he brings a very self-confident level of intensity to the program.
Who was the player you were going to? What were you talking? What you liked the best about? I asked both of you what you liked best about this team or player. Did you have one?
Well, for me, it's obviously getting the key guys back that they needed back. Jaden Baugh, Vernell Brown III. I thought, getting those 5 back, that was the first big victory for John Summerall. Yeah. And so that was mine.
Okay. France?
I thought what was critical was the fact that he came in there understanding it's a line of scrimmage league, and he made that his emphasis. He got his 5 guys back, of course, which was, you can't underestimate the value of that. But I think the second thing he did was he went out there and he addressed the lines of scrimmage, because the Gators got knocked off the ball on both sides of the ball too many times last year. And and I thought he addressed that. And I like the guy he's got in the middle. You're replacing the best center in the country with Jake Slaughter with a guy named Harrison Moore, who I think is capable of being that kind of guy. And so I like that. I think you got to have a great center. You look at the championship teams the Gators have had. They've all had great centers, and I think he's got one there in Harrison Moore.
Okay, guys, got a couple of minutes to go. What do we need to see out of this basketball team tonight, Scott?
I think it's going to start with just coming out, obviously with better energy than the other day against Auburn, playing some better defense, getting those rebounds like we're used to, and just controlling the game. I mean, Auburn came out and punched them in the face, controlled the game throughout, and they lost. It was a tough loss, but I think Florida just needs to come out the exact same way Auburn came out at Florida on Saturday, and they'll be fine, because South Carolina is not as talented as Florida.
And don't fall behind.
We'll see how it goes.
Don't fall behind 15 at halftime.
You got it. That's a winning recipe about every game, right, Franz?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a tough home environment. South Carolina plays very, very well at home. They may not win games at home, but they play everybody tough. And as we saw last year, the Gators were down 14 points with, I think, 6:21 to go, and came back, get the win on a Will Richard layup with 4.6 seconds to go. The only time Florida led the entire ball game. I don't think you can play around with these guys, and I think it's important for the Gators to come out and play a game where they don't have to play around or feel the pressure. I think they need to go out and just blow these guys out from the beginning.
I know you hate to hear this, fans, but Georgia just losing by a point with a minute to go. So Tennessee. So I know the Bulldogs are your favorite team.
Auburn has come down from 17 down.
They were getting crushed by Texas. What is it now?
They're up by 5 with 6.5 to go.
They were singing to join up the first half. Good stuff, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Scott. Good talking to you. Appreciate your time. Franz, hope you feel better, buddy.
Me
Keep
too.
on keeping on. Play with the pain. And you guys enjoy the game tonight. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Franz Beard and our friend Scott Carter. So I want to tell you folks about I'm trying to get off here a couple of minutes early because of the basketball game. We remind you about our fine sponsors. We want to thank Frank Frangie. Always great to talk with Frank. He's got good stuff, and he carries it well, and he knows a lot. He does a good job of keeping up with the Jaguars and the Gators. And don't forget, he's in 10-10 there. He's been doing it for 30 years, he said. I want to also thank Scott and Franz as well. Franz is under the weather. And don't forget his book, by the way. If you haven't got it, you got to get it. And if you don't know where to go, you can go Spurriers.com. Talked to Coach Spurrier today, matter of fact. Spurriers.com /shop and buy the book, and they can ship it same-day service. It's a terrific book. You always want to have it on your shelf to show your great-grandchildren what it was like back in 25. What a great year it was. So anyway, appreciate them. I want to tell you about Titan MRI and Imaging. They are a fine sponsor of ours. They do a lot of things in the area. They're opening new places. What's good about them is they care about the customer. And this day and time, people call it customer no service, because sometimes we feel like nobody cares about the customer. Well, Titan MRI and Imaging cares about the customer, as evidenced by the fact they keep opening new locations. They make it easier for you, give you a better experience when you get your MRI. All those are for you. 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue and now the Millennium Center, and 1 in Lake City serving all of Columbia and Valdosta, Georgia. Titan MRI Imaging offers the same great customer service, meaning if you can't come in the afternoon, you want to come at night, well, you call them up and let them know, and they'll make a night appointment for you. Bring a staff in so you can have that time. You can be there. It's hard for us if you're a working man or a woman. Titan MRI Imaging now accepts insurance, and they also, through their self-pay program options, you can, among the things you can use, they offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, ultrasounds. As I said, easy scheduling, and the larger MRI machines are there for your patient comfort. No ERs, no hospitals. Soon coming to Ocala to serve you in Marion County. Titan MRI Imaging, it's your choice. Folks, we appreciate you listening and watching tonight. We're back tomorrow night with the team, and we'll have more for you. We'll keep more and get more information for you. We're digging all the time and trying to keep up with what's going on in this world of ours. Hope you're surviving the cold weather, and we will. We're going to turn up our heat just a little bit and see if we can't also maybe get a little bit warmer. It's been cold around here, as a matter of fact, too, folks, as I'm sure it is for you. So have a great night, and let's see what the Gators can do against South Carolina coming up next.